drink the Arizona iced tea energy drink.
Fallout
Yeah,
one?
the Fallout ones. Yeah,
Yeah, yo, that peach one is fucking fabulous.
it's so good. I like the peach one, and
so fucking good.
the pomegranate one is really good too.
The apple one is a little too sharp.
It's very like Granny Smith green sour apple. Like it's very very intense.
Yeah,
not
that peach one is
that peach one is
delicious.
I have one left, and I'm like saving it in the fridge to like crack open for a rainy day.
You can't buy it individually. You can only buy the fucking 18 pack or whatever it is.
Drives me crazy. Oh, I do have actually another drink. I posted it on Discord. The new Liquid Death small cans. The Dr. Pepper, root beer, and cola. They're all terrible. I get what they're going for, because their whole thing. So I really their water I think is fine. I really like all of their iced teas. I think that stuff is really good. I'm down for a lot of their water stuff, of like, this water tastes like lime or oranges or something like that. Yeah. Like that, I think that stuff is okay. The one, my brain has a hard time with these because it's root beer flavored water, which is fine, but it just tastes like root beer that you got in a big styrofoam cup with too much ice in it, and then about half of it is water and half of it is a root beer now. So it syrup, it tastes like it's halfway to, like, pop doesn't go bad, but you know what I mean, where it's like
it goes flat or watered down.
It's like too much water in there, a little bit of water there when you have the ice, like that's great. But like having that kind of half and half, the root beer is okay. The Dr. Pepper, they call it like Dr. Death, I think. It doesn't, to me, the great part of Dr. Pepper is like that spice, that like not the heat spice, but the spice in it. Doesn't have enough of that. The colas taste disgusting. I never want to have, I don't even want to smell that one again. It tastes wrong. It tastes bad, and it tastes like you put too much water in a can of like flat pop. Well,
don't Ferro and chat with the probiotic soda drop. Go away. No.
I've had some probiotic sodas that I like just fine. There's one that my wife really likes. The Ollie Pops. I think those are okay. They're maybe, not to be too TMI, maybe a little too probiotic for me. But I think those are okay. I've had some where it's like I don't like kombucha at all. All that smells like is vinegar to me, and I don't like vinegar.
You guys remember when kombucha first came out and everyone was trying to sell it, and it's like, dude, it looks like you got a dead jellyfish in there.
Yeah, I'll drink a drink with stuff in it, and like I like the like probiotic nature of it, but cracking that thing open and just getting like a fistful of vinegar in your nose is just like, I just can't do it, man.
That's all I remember is my boss. He was more health conscious than the rest of us back when I worked production forever ago, and we were all sitting at our desks, and it was me, our robotic weld engineer, and our project manager, and then both the supervisors were in the office, and we're all sitting there, and I hear something open. And all of a sudden, I hear my program manager start to gag. The robotic engineer starts swearing. One of the supervisors starts swearing. And I was closest to the outside door, so I was further away from it with my back to everybody.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like, it hit me. I'm like, one of you fucking fart? Like, what the hell? And they were like, no, it's just fucking drink. And, like, the program manager's like,
Like, nothing prepares you for it, because people can be like, yeah, it's got a strong smell, and you're like, yeah, probably not, and you're like, oh god.
Yeah,
Nope,
we all
I'm
had
good.
to leave the office door and window open for a while.
Yeah. Good for you, but
Yeah.
not good.
Someone
smell.
has been coming into my workplace and cooking fish at 6 in the morning.
Why? Also,
On a
breakfast
hot plate.
fish. What you doing? What?
Uh-huh.
Where's your
People,
life
man.
been leading you, man?
Poor
Yep.
decisions all around.
Yeah. All right. Are you guys ready to get started?
No,
Yeah.
I need really quick, because I know you'll have it to hand, Boston. I
Yeah.
need you to run down your top 10 for me really quick.
From last year?
Yes.
Oh,
No,
gee.
your top 10 from 25.
Okay. Well, number one is. I don't know. Hold on. Let me. Where's
I try. I was going to listen to the podcast and then I ran out of time.
20,
Don't worry, Nimp. I don't need yours.
2025
I mean, I can pull
top
mine up.
10. Where the hell? 2024 top 10. There it is. Okay. Number 10, Life is Strange Double Exposure, Caravan Sandwich, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, Mini Shoot Adventures, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, UFO 50, Top 3, Astrobot, Animal Well, Balatro.
Okay, thank you. That's all I needed. I have a show note that I need to start the show with, and
Well, I was gonna say, are you gonna try to guess his draft picks based off of what his top 10 was?
no.
I was just wondering, was that the end of the, like, okay, thanks, moving on. It's just like, wait, hold it, why?
No, I need to know, but it's something I need on. I don't know why I was about to say on wax. I'm not in the hip hop scene, but I need this to be on wax.
It's a Moonpier joint. Okay.
I'm a feat. Thank you very much.
That's right. That's right.
I'm a feat of entertainment, baby.
Okay.
Whatever helps you get through the day.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to a brand new episode of That Video Game Podcast, aka TVGP. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpier.
Hi. What year is it?
It's 2025. Brand new year. And the Nimp.
Yep. This is where we can't swear anymore.
That's right. Is it also 2025 for you, Nimp?
It can be. It can be
Perfect.
whatever year we want it to be. It's all a hellscape.
That's right.
New feet, new me.
But you know what isn't a hellscape is our last two episodes that we just came out with, our two-part Game of the Year spectacular. Hope everybody enjoyed it. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to both of them. I think both of them turned out really great, and hopefully everybody liked the kind of shake-up in format this year, and hopefully everyone enjoyed it. If you also want an escape from the hellscape, patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones are numbers.
We will take your $5 a month, which is the recommended tier, and we will give you entertainment that I can guarantee with an asterisk is going to make your day better. I can't guarantee that, don't sue us. So you get exclusive access to The Outcast, which is the show that we just got done recording. I have like 15 things we talked about this week.
Yep.
We had a lot to catch up on. That's where we talk about everything that isn't video games. We also talked about video games this week, but that's fine. That happens every once in a while. Talk about all of that over there. You get early access to Critical Misses and We Roguelike It. You get exclusive access at the $5 tier or higher for Critical Misses production meeting. We're talking about how the sausage is made for that show and sometimes other shows. And you get exclusive access to The Wayward Sons, the Supernatural TV show watchcast that Moon and the Nimp are going through season by season, episode by episode. The two brothers down the road doing it. Get all of that and more. Patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones are numbers.
All right, Moon. What have you been playing for these last 2-ish weeks?
Okay. Go listen to The Outcast. I have a small addendum to make at the start of the show here.
Okay.
A mea culpa, if you will.
Mm.
If I was on social media, this would be in a notes document, and then I would post a screenshot of the notes document up on social media.
I thought
Naturally.
you were going to say if this was on social media, I'd have to post an apology.
That's right.
Yeah, well, this is kind of that apology.
My legal counsel has advised me.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to do this on behalf of Boston.
Okay.
I'm sorry if you were offended.
That's right.
Because we both totally forgot about Slice and Dice on our top 10 lists.
I had it in my... what did I have it in? Honorable mentions.
Did you? Did you?
Best old game for me. Slice and Dice version 3.0.
So
Okay.
it sounds like only one of you forgot
In that
about
case,
it.
it's me.
Well, it's
That's
hard
fine.
because Slice and Dice wasn't a new game
Yeah.
last year, but the version 3 was
And then
such
it
a
was a new
huge
game.
revamp, and it was new for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, my bad. My apologies. I make a list of everything I play, and I must have just like skipped over that one with my eyeballs every time I went through the list of games I play each year. Okay. Now,
Slice and Dice
onto
is
what?
great, though. If you haven't played it,
Yes.
it's really good. The mobile version is incredible.
It's fantastic, and be prepared to move it off your home screen so you don't balatro yourself with it. Is what I will say.
Yep.
Really quick, don't need to pull up footage of these first two Boston because these are just quick asides. Little Kitty, Big City. I got all the achievements. That is uninstalled.
Nice.
I love that game. It is super cute and charming. Go play it. I believe it's still on Game Pass.
Yeah, my daughter just started picking that up again yesterday.
Nice.
So, let me tell you, I have two kittens running around this household who
Ditto.
really, really, really like the cats on the screen. And I may or may not have had to pick up my soundbar from the floor about 5 or 6 times over these past 2 weeks while I try and knock that game out.
Also,
And a
ditto.
different game, which we'll talk about in a little bit. It's cute, it's great, and I deliberately... There was a secret achievement which I wanted to get last, which is Deadly Kitty, and that's you pick up something dangerous and run at people with it, and they run away from you. It's great. It's fantastic. So yes, you should look up the achievement art for that. It's so cute. It's ridiculous. Little Kitty, Big City, done, uninstalled. I have not uninstalled this next game.
Okay.
Because I will never uninstall this next game
Oh, okay.
until the next version comes out.
Okay.
The next version is called Descenders Next, Boston. That's the joke.
The next... There
There you go.
Got
Good
it.
dad jokes already.
Yep.
It's January, baby. I did it somehow.
Yeah, the most surprising post I've seen from you on social media was basically like, I did it in Descenders. I did the thing that I
Yeah.
was trying
I
to do.
descended.
Yeah.
For those of you who forgot or new listeners or whatever the case may be, there was 3 achievements that I was really stuck on. One was the Whoopee Cushion achievement, which is a super rare drop, and if you score like 50,000 rep, you've got like a 20% chance of getting an extraordinary item, which is a pool of 58 items. One of those is the Whoopee Cushion.
Mhm.
So that's a very rare chance to get that. The other 2 were complete all of the bonus levels and complete an entire run without falling off the bike once.
Right.
Not easy achievements. I think it's like 0.03% and 0.02% respectively for those achievements. And just messing around, I was getting better and better. I think I spoke about it on this show. I think I'm better now than I was when we previously played the game.
Right.
And I just experimented with it, and I started practicing getting to the volcano, which is the secret level at the end of the game that you need to get to in order to get the final bonus level, the 5th of the 5 bonus worlds, essentially. So get to the secret level, then get to the secret map inside of the secret level, essentially. And then I did it. I got to it twice and lost all my lives by the time I managed to collect all of the toys. It's the kids' playroom level I was talking about previously,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
which is all Action Hank themed because the same devs made the Action Hank games.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So the figures that you're collecting are the Action Hank guys. There was a couple of jumps on there that are not easy to do. You kind of need a specific set of skills. So I just practiced and practiced and practiced. And I got there. I got there really quickly. Like in the very first week of the break, I was like, wait, what? I did this bonus level one? That's cool.
Wild.
I guess now I'm just going to focus on doing an entire run in the first 4 worlds without dying once.
Mm-hmm.
That one took me about 8 to 10 tries to do it.
That's not that bad.
No, I mean, it's not that bad after I've already put, almost 4 days into the game.
True.
Boston, just to give some context.
Look, I love the Binding of Isaac, so like anytime you can do something in 8 to 10 runs, it's like, wow, that's not that bad.
Yes, I have that stupid achievement too, unfortunately. But I did it. And I was like, I don't know how I did this. And then to celebrate, like, I looked at all of the DLC goals that they put in, like all of these tour goals. And pretty much the only things I was missing was like the bike out levels. And I was like, I'm just going to celebrate the fact that I did this by just doing the bike out levels.
Yeah.
And while when you do that, you basically unlock rewards for each thing that you complete. And I always forget to claim those rewards because they're just random and I just don't care. And then I happened to click on the reward for doing the golden run. And the reward for the golden run was the whoopee cushion.
It's all coming together.
So I immediately equipped that whoopee cushion, and when I tell you I've never clicked a thumbstick in 200 times so quick, I just went around like the lobby park at the
you're like
the lobby
Yoko's
area,
Island expressing
literally the entire time. And then the achievement popped, and I was like, "Wow, I actually did it." If I want to get the final achievement in the game, which is DLC, I don't count them. Don't come at me. It's fine. I got my retail 1000. Thank you very much. If I want to get the final achievement in the game, it's the final tour that I have to do. It's the final mission on the final tour, which is to do a start to finish run with someone else.
Oh, wow. Okay. Goodness.
Which is doable.
Sure.
But I'm also not going to sit there and say, hey, Rob, I need you to put about 48 hours into this game for me so you can get good.
I've got a project for you. So I can get
this last achievement that I need to do. I already had a project for him. It was start Saints Row the remake again so I can get the stupid achievement I need, and he still hasn't done that, so that's fine.
I like that you're like Nick Fury of like, soldier, I have your next project.
Yeah, and the previous soldier I gave the project to was Justin, was to help me play the crew, and he never showed up for that. So apparently my Avengers are suck Avengers, is what I'm doing.
The Canadian Avengers. It's like, wait a minute.
I'm just saying, like, they're great when you want to play Space Marine. They're not so great when you want to play a middle to above average Saints Row game or middle to above average racing game. Like, that's fine. I love Descenders.
That was the newest Saints Row that you were...
Okay. Yes. There was an achievement for killing the leaders of one of the gangs, but one of the leaders showed up in an open world like event thing that you did. Gotcha. If you didn't kill him fast enough, he left. And you didn't get credit for killing him.
Huh.
So you got 75% of the way on that achievement with 0 ways of getting it back to... I don't know who's calling me, Mr. Spam Caller, thank you. 0 ways of getting it back to 100%. I couldn't summon that guy again, so I just never had the ability to do it.
Gotcha, so you're just stuck.
Yeah, the fix is you jump into somebody else's game and they do that open world event with you in it, and then you get credit for killing them at that point.
Gotcha.
Thanks, Rob.
I mean, Saints Row hasn't gone offline yet, so...
Yeah, but they're not patching.
No, yeah, it hasn't. I still have it on my side drive. My side drive waiting to be moved back to the primary drive when
side drive TM.
Find somebody who has the ability to do so. Okay, I don't know what it is with me and this 2-week break and climbing colossal mountains.
Okay, I love a theme.
That wasn't a Descenders joke. I finally completed the wizard goals on the high roller table on the Stand Pinball arcade game.
There you go.
Wow.
And the one that I was struggling with the most was to do the spinny thing and get that to go all the way around, like, I think it's 4 full rotations. But you have to hit a specific shot, which was a dangerous shot. And let me tell you, it was so hard to do. Like, it took supreme ball control to just like cradle the ball, hit the target, cradle the ball, hit the target, hit the ramp, cradle the ball, hit the target, hit the ramp, hit the target. It was just...
Boy, I can't tell that you had to figure out a rhythm for this thing.
It was so hard. And then I did it. And I was like, oh my word, I did it. And then the achievement didn't break.
What?
Yep.
It's the same developer. It's Farsight dude who made Williams Collection, and you know that those achievements can be questionable to slow at times.
Right. True.
So I had to wait 24 hours for that achievement to pop. And then it was just like, oh yeah, you did that. Great.
The most nail-biting 24 hours ever.
Pretty much, yeah. It was so difficult. And I was just like, why? Like, it's not even a franchise I like. It's not a table I like. But let me tell you, if I walk into any pinball place that has that table and that high score is not in the billions, and I mean billions when I say this, I'm going to destroy it.
That's right.
I'm gonna put my name on that number one leaderboard for the rest of time,
Right.
because I now know this table inside out without a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings me to the problem. I also played the Starship Troopers table, just a little bit on this one.
Okay.
I don't like the digital version of the Starship Troopers table.
Oh, okay. And you've played that, the physical version of that?
I have played and I adore the physical version of that table. I was so excited to play the digital version. It obviously it's a different format, and that's why my boasting and hyperbole about the High Roller Casino table is funny, is because it doesn't have the same feel to it. And I just didn't get the same level of satisfaction of hitting certain shots. I could not hit the scoop shot on the bottom left, which is that's a me problem. But what I did do was I loaded up the Harley Davidson 3rd edition table.
Okay.
Because I've talked about this before. I'm going to go through this game table by table, and I will destroy them. One by one, by one, by one.
That's right.
When I tell you I arrived at that Harley Davidson 3rd edition table, and I ran that thing down like it was in a Mad Max movie. Spoilers. In one game, not reading the instructions, not reading anything like that, I got the high score and all of the basic goals complete in a single game.
Jeez.
I then went back and I destroyed it in the Wizard goals too. I was like, this is great, because I like the table. It's a genuinely fun table for me to play because it's got the things I like in pinball tables. Long story short, the story of the Harley Davidson table is go on a road trip throughout all of America.
Okay, that's fun.
You do that by hitting the switches on the table, which is everything. Everything that you can interact with on a table is a switch. You hit the switch, you gain mileage, you gain enough miles, you go to the next city, you hit the shot, you go to the next city, so on and so forth. So just keep hitting the table and you'll make progress towards the thing.
But how many bonus points do you get for knocking off side mirrors on vehicles?
Nothing for side mirrors, although there is a video mode where you run down pedestrians.
Oh my.
There it is.
Okay.
I wish I was kidding.
Goodness.
And if you don't run down pedestrians, the little digitized voice says, "Where'd you learn to drive, son?" at you.
Great.
Seems accurate.
And I really, 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 really hope that you're a giant fan of a really bad MIDI rendition of Bad to the Bone and Born to be Wild.
Okay, well, I mean, those are the two songs for sure.
Because literally you will hear ba-ba-ba-ba-boom, ba-ba-ba-ba-boom
Yep.
for about 6 hours.
I'm surprised they didn't time it to the thud of the engine.
Right.
So the worst part is, I think Bad to the Bone, it's either this way or it's flipped. But Bad to the Bone plays regularly, and then Born to be Wild plays when the Harley Davidson multi-ball is available.
Oh, okay.
So it just switches the song for that. But I like the table. It's got no side flippers. It's got a couple of drop targets, no framps. If you don't know what a framp is, it is an FU ramp that sends it straight down the side gullies.
Oh, sure.
It's got none of that in it. Excuse me while I cough. It's got none of the framps in it. It's got like 5 or 6 ramps at the top, and I love a good rampy table. Like, if you give me a table that's nothing but ramps like this, like Medieval Madness is another great rampy table.
Mm-hmm.
I love a rampy table. Probably one of the reasons why I absolutely destroyed it is because it's a super rampy table. It's like, yeah, hit that ramp, hit that ramp, hit that ramp. And it has 3 multi-ball modes, all of which are 4-ball multi-balls.
Jeez. Okay.
And you could just hit them consecutively, where it's like, oh, now I've got the Harley Davidson one, now I've got the Speedo one, now I've got the red light one, and now I've got this, and now I've got that. I like that table. I genuinely do. I think it's a really well-made table. Zero interest in Harley Davidsons or the feel of it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
but I love that table. It was good to struggle on high roller for months and months and months, and then just come in and in like 2 or 3 days just be like, yeah, you're done.
Right.
Bye. Have fun. Moving on to the next table. My solution was I'm going to play every other table and do the high scores and the basic goals now, just so I can narrow it down to like the 5 achievements left, essentially. Which I'll talk about when I get to them. Oh boy, will I talk about them. Other than that, I finished Control.
Nice.
I finally got the final achievements in that, which, Boston.
Uh-huh.
Minor pre-show spoiler here. This is on your list, right?
No, not really. I've been playing it, but it's a lot of. So I'm playing Control on. I don't think it might be the easiest difficulty. No, it's on normal, but I have God mode turned on, so I'm
just flip everything on.
I'm motoring. I started with the one-shot kills mode on, but I didn't really like that because I felt like it was too much of like a shooting gallery. It's basically like pew 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 pew. Like that didn't feel as good.
No. We don't talk about shooting galleries around this guy here. He struggles with shooting galleries.
That's right.
One game that you weren't supposed to be good at anyway.
Right. But I did. So I have God mode turned on, which just makes it a cakewalk in a way that I find fun, especially after playing it through it without that originally. But I also
I turned that on and the one-shot mode on for achievement cleanups.
Oh,
because
sure.
I only had like 2 or 3 grindy ones to do.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was just like, yeah, okay. I didn't know these were in here, but now I know. I'm sure going to turn them on. And shield bash, kill 100 enemies. Done.
Right.
Done.
I did also turn on. I turned the aim assist all the way up because I've always kind of had a problem with Control where you're like a millimeter off of someone's head and it's going wide every time. Like it didn't I felt like that
can
game
be a little washy sometimes.
Yeah, it's like a little swimmy, and like it didn't magnetize as much as I feel like it should. So turning that all the way up feels a little bit better. But I don't know. I'm 2 or 3 hours.
What was the last thing that happened?
I fought the guy in the mail room, which is like your first.
Talk about Tomasi here, based on what our community said.
Yeah, and it's like, I think that's like your first real boss, and then I did the side mission to feed the that garbage thing, the stuff that's
furnace?
around the room. So like
it's the furnace.
Yeah, the furnace. Yeah, not a lot, but I've been completely obsessed.
That's
pretty far though.
A good 4 or 5 hours in if you're not using like the God mode.
Well, it really helps too with the God mode too, of just like I'm gonna fight this boss and like cool, I'm just gonna wipe the floor with them because I can just stand here in the middle of the room and just plink away at them.
Obviously, listeners, do what you want. Like, if you want to put God mode on and play with God mode, play with God mode.
Yeah.
But in our case, we also suffered through this game originally with
we all beat it way back when.
Yeah.
So.
We paid Tomasi version 2 tax ourselves previously.
And
like, we don't need to do that again.
The last thing I did, I now remember, was where you're in that, you go in the like sewer area and you're shooting the eyes on that sludge and you're kind of pushing it back, and then you have that big fight in that room where it has all the turbines in it, and then you fight that kind of big tanky enemy at the end. I remember that very vividly, fighting through it, of how much I struggled with that tank guy at the end, because he's just, next thing you know, he's right behind you and just destroying
angry
you. Yeah.
Also, you'll probably have flashbacks about the clock too.
Yes, I had trouble with the clock originally. Yeah.
I feel like everybody does. I mean, I think January is just going to be a Remedy month, because now that you've just beaten it, Boston's kind of playing it, and like I said on pre-show, I was thinking of because it's on Game Pass on Xbox and I have it on Core.
Yeah.
I was thinking of just popping it in and playing it just to get 100 on that, and now I'm just might as well.
Through,
yeah.
But like, it is so fun to play. It's just and Control looks incredible.
It really does.
It's a very contained space, so it's very much a similar. It's an office architecture kind of thing, and it still looks incredible. I think, especially when you get to those moments where it's reality bending, like when you first time you go into the black ore mine, and it's just the galaxies above your head. Like, I love that game. That game is so fantastic.
Control's great.
Yes, but I got the final achievements I was needing on that, including playing and beating the second DLC.
Nice.
I will keep my mouth sealed, as Boston. The whole purpose of Boston playing this game is to play the DLC.
Is that AEW? Is the second one? Or
yes, AEW is the second one, and AEW is the second one. The Alan Wake Experience or Altered World event, depending on how you want to approach it. And the first one is the Foundation. I think the Foundation is genuinely interesting because it's like, here is the history of the oldest house. Here is the first director. Here is when the service weapon was created.
Right.
Like, can you trust the board kind of thing?
Part of the reason why I want to play Control again, too, is because FBC Firebreak is supposed to come out this year, and I wanted to get a bit of a brush up on the oldest house and the Federal Bureau of Control and kind of the whole thing again, because as much as I really love Control, a lot of the like lore stuff never really
kind of gets lost.
And it kind of like never stuck in my brain. It kind of just like sloughed right off of like, the Control, the Bureau and all that stuff is great.
At a guess, I think I know what did stick in your brain. It was the posters. No modern technology.
That stuff is good.
Did you have one stapler or two staplers?
That's right. The other thing
Don't
that
let
stuck
mold
in
hitch
my
a ride.
I was gonna say everything about the mold.
The mold, yeah. The other thing that stuck in my brain too is what's the kids show with the terrifying puppets?
Oh, with the puppets.
I remember
something kids.
Yeah.
Is it Safety Kids?
No, it starts with a K. It's like not Crypt Kids, something like that. But it's that terrifying puppet show, and I was like, "Oh yeah, yep, I remember this. That's way more terrifying than I remembered." Yep.
It's got a weird name too.
Control Kids,
I'm looking
maybe.
it up.
No,
Threshold Kids.
Threshold Kids.
Threshold Kids.
Yep, terrifying.
God, looking
it's
at the picture on that, that's that's pretty
Good news, Boston. There is extra Threshold Kids in the DLC.
Oh, perfect.
So you know.
Just what I needed.
Nice.
More of those. Yep.
And it's cut content just to make things even more interesting.
Okay.
Like as in universe cut content. Like they couldn't show it to the kids cut content.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I love Threshold Kids. I love Control. Remedy is fantastic.
Yep.
Speaking of Remedy, I started Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
So did I.
For video viewers, we talked about Alan Wake 2 on Picking Up the Pixels a lot. I'm not going to show video footage of Alan Wake 2 because literally everything I try to find in videos is some sort of massive spoiler. So just imagine, use your imagination on this one. Also,
occasionally gross and above ratings that might get us issues with videos and things like that.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. So starting out, I was surprised that there was hey, would you like to have nudity in your game? Yeah, like
literally the first thing you do is play a naked dude.
Yeah, you play a naked dude, and you're probably 20 minutes in, and you're seeing full frontal, chest cavity open.
Oh, jeez.
Like everything, and I'm like, I mean, I have a bigger issue with the chest cavity than I do seeing what's below the waist on this dude. But like, so if you're squeamish to nudity, there is an option for that.
Right.
Yeah. I was about to say a quote from the game, but I think it's really funny, so I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to let that one sit out.
Well, and mine too, when it first comes up, because there's like no context to it either. Yeah. So I was like, what? Like, in what way is there nudity?
Like when I started, I think it was Assassin's Creed Audit. No, it was the Valhalla. They're like, hey, do you want to turn nudity on or off? And I'm like, for what? Like, what are we?
And it's literally, I think it's like 2 sequences in that, and it's like 2 cutscenes.
Right.
It's the only thing that it's in there.
Yeah. Really. How much? In what context? Like.
Yeah. So the problem with Alan Wake 2 is there's not a lot we can talk about without spoiling stuff.
Yeah.
I will say I have nothing but credit for Capcom and everything they've managed to do with the Reach for the Moon engine. Still hate that it's called that.
Uh-huh.
Northlight might be one of the most powerful engines I've ever seen, period.
It's so
which is
good
the engine that
looking.
Remedy uses.
It's
like,
incredible.
I don't understand how this independent, small... They have like 3 games being made, but they're a smaller team.
Yeah.
They're a smaller studio. I don't understand how this game looks anywhere near as good as it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this thing is insanely good looking.
Mm-hmm. Especially from like a fog and lighting standpoint. Like it's really taking the mood that, and I'm not playing the game. But like it's taking the mood from the first game and really just amping up the graphical fidelity.
Yeah. I got a little lost in Alan Wake 1. I get very lost in Alan Wake 2.
Does this
it's just like which path, which trees? Huh? I don't know.
Just to take a quick aside, we were just talking about the accessibility features in Control. What does it look like in... Is there like God mode and one-shot stuff?
Right off the bat.
All the same sort of stuff?
Yep, so you don't have to worry. You got infinite ammo, you have infinite flashlight energy, you have God mode, and I think there is also a one-hit kill option as well.
That's cool.
So, yeah, so that's all in there off the bat.
Yes. I'm not using it because apparently I'm an idiot, but also it's apparently a survival horror game now.
Yeah,
right.
Okay.
Yeah, because you do get, and that was kind of why I haven't turned anything on yet either. I'm not saying I won't in the future, but right now I'm just like, let me see how the game is right now.
Like the base level experience.
Yeah, but you get the full on, like, hey, equip a weapon to the D-pad. You can hit up to get your pistol. You can hit up again to get to a different weapon, and it's the same thing on all 4 buttons on the D-pad. You have like a pack, like I've already unlocked, like
that opens.
Yeah, it's like Resident Evil style, where it's like I have like 2 additional pouches that I've added, so I have like 2 additional lines of inventory space.
And like the game starts out and you play Saga Anderson, who is someone you don't know.
Yeah, you're not playing as Alan Wake at the beginning, which I think is fantastic.
I kind of enjoy Saga.
FBI agent. She's so good. Like,
not only do I enjoy Saga, I enjoy that she's already potentially an AW.
100%. So I will say, so when the game starts, you and your FBI partner are going to go investigate this thing as Saga. You get there and the local sheriffs, who you quite rightly dismiss as idiots, are there. And they meet you at a fence because the place you are at is Bright Falls, which is the Alan Wake 1 setting.
Great.
Yeah, you're
the
trying
fence
to get to Cauldron Lake,
is a fence all the way around Cauldron Lake. So people are not supposed to go in Cauldron Lake anymore, anywhere near it.
Right.
Guess
And
what
there's a
signage
little
they have
yellow
up?
sign that says, "This area is off limits by order of the FBC," and I squealed like a baby. I kid you not.
So to ask another question here real quick, I feel like I asked this of Musum when we talked about this on Pup. Would you recommend somebody, if they have played Alan Wake before and maybe don't have time to play it through again, should someone watch like a recap video of like, here's what happened in the game, here's the characters, here's all this stuff?
I would definitely watch like a lore breakdown. Honestly, I played Alan Wake last year, and I'm probably going to have to go and rewatch a lore breakdown because
it kind of hits the ground running, right?
Yeah, and the Alan Wake story itself is also a little bit weird because it's like there's a dark presence who uses artists to warp reality by making them create pieces of art, and then that art warps reality. But then Alan uses his own ability to create art to warp reality to trap the dark presence. But now it appears like it might be coming out again, and
how much do you remember
happening.
Mr. Scratch is probably a question. If you go who, you should probably watch a lore video.
Yep, if you ask who Mr. Scratch is, go watch a lore video.
Yeah,
like that.
But the game is also shaped where you are following Saga, who had absolutely nothing to do with the first game. So they're not spoon-feeding you lore. Things are popping up, and if you've played the first game, you're gonna notice, you know, you're
Mm.
gonna remember things, or you're gonna realize things from if you played the first game that you would miss if you didn't. But
Yeah.
it's not
It's not
like
like
just
it's an ocean,
throwing
it's-
stuff at you like, oh yeah, you should have seen that, you know, this happened in the first game, Saga. You should have been there, and you
Right.
know, blah blah blah.
Yeah. So, out of context completely, I just finished the talk show section. I don't know if it's the only talk show section, but I finished the talk show section.
Okay.
That's what I have finished. I can't talk about that section without huge spoilers,
Yep.
but they do say in that section, it's someone asking Alan Wake a question, and they say, "What does it mean? It's not a lake, it's an ocean." That's the last line that you ended on. 10, 13 years ago, you left us with this cliffhanger. It's just like, that's right. Thank you for being aware that that game ends in one of the most interesting lines ever written, in my opinion, and they didn't do anything with it for 13 years.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And like the hard part about Alan Wake 2 is because it's a game that's so mired in the spoilers of the first game, it's really hard to talk about it in general because it just picks right up from the end of the first one. It's just like, everything in this game is just a spoiler.
It's 13 years later, but it's literally, hey, did you remember this from Alan Wake 1? Because you probably might want to go watch a video if you don't.
And
Yeah.
does this game have a recap video like some games do now?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Maybe.
Because we see a lot more games now have it on like the main menu of like last time on God of War.
You see a lot more Final Fantasies with it.
Well, I'm seeing more Sony games have it. Like
yeah, that's true.
Horizon Forbidden West and God of War Ragnarok both had one, which both of them were fine, but it's kind of like better than nothing. But like, how do you explain Alan Wake 1 other than like the physical version comes with the remaster of the first game?
Like,
so like,
you know,
go play that.
Like,
Yep.
But I mean, it's.
I thought I had some notes written down on my phone, but I guess I didn't, because I do want to bring up that the commercials that you find on the TVs still 100% worth watching and just as dumb and funny. The radio,
kids, but in real world.
Right.
Yeah, like there's actual commercials and stuff, and you actually meet one of the guys from the commercial, and it's just stupid. The two that I've watched were the funniest things I'd watched. One of the two radio segments that I've had, where I'm not going to spoil what it is, but an older gentleman is on there, and I was like, all right, he's kind of funny. The reason he's on there, yeah. But then you get the other one, and he just randomly comes on and says something. They're just talking about beef jerky, and this dude just comes on, and I laughed out loud about the stupid things that he was talking about on there. Like, all right, I'm really loving that they brought all this back now.
Yeah, it's good to hear it's still an Alan Wake game from like a world building standpoint.
And it's still Bright Falls. Like you would go there and it's still Cauldron Lake. Like you will go there and you will look and you'll be like, wait, I know exactly where I am approximately based on the first game. When you first get to Bright Falls, like you pull into the main drag and you're just like, I know this. I know this entire town. I know that that's the fish cannery on the right. I know the diner's on the left. I know that giant deer attacked me straight down this street.
Yep.
And like Nim said, like everything, it's done in the Remedy style, but it feels very small town America. Like that commercial you got on local TV when you were a kid for the used car salesman down the road who, like, you know, he now owns all.
Whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like it's got that kind of vibe, and it's super small town, and it's cool. It looks great, and Sam Lake is your partner.
That's great.
You find it out in the very first few seconds of the game. His name is Alex Casey. Alex Casey is the fictional character that Alan Wake wrote about, which was essentially his Max Payne, because he couldn't use the name Max Payne.
Right.
So Alex Casey was that character's name, and your partner is a guy called Alex Casey, and they reference the fact that he has the same name as the novels.
Right.
Like funny. Yeah.
It's very interesting so far, I will say. And I will say, I got messed up by a wolf really badly.
Dude, I didn't, but I got caught off guard by one. Not the first one that you encounter, but you can encounter wolves a couple different times, especially if you go into optional areas. And I could hear one, but I could. And this is what Moon was talking about. You can get lost on some of these paths, and it's not a big open space. It's just you're following
literally a narrow path.
Yeah, it's a narrow path, but there's like brush and trees everywhere, so it's hard to see, especially when it gets darker out. So like I could hear something happening, and all of a sudden something jumped out in front of me and then ran off, and I couldn't find it again. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I guess that was like an event, like a timed thing, kind of, until it came after me.
Yep.
Goodness.
I've had a couple show up, and the first time I saw one, I was like, okay, and then it just wrecked me until I switched to a different thing. But it's got, and this may come out down as a prerogative. I don't mean it to be, because I adore them. It feels super Resident Evil, like Nim said. The D-pad selection. I've already run into like 4 or 5 puzzles where it gives you like a word puzzle.
Yep.
Like you get the second weapon that you acquire as Saga, it's locked with a numerical padlock, and it's got a little post-it note which says, "Oh, go check at the desk." So then you have to go check at the desk and then do like logical deductions as to what the code is based on the notes that you're given.
Dude, my
the
son
presentation
figured that out way faster than I did. Like I was getting there, and my son was sitting here watching me play it. And he's like, "I think it's these numbers," and I'm like, "All right, yeah, screw it, let's go try it."
Yeah.
I struggled with it, and then Saga had to give me a little hint, which I adored. Like I opened one of the text notes, and it's like, "Oh, that's the same as these numbers." So, and that was after like maybe 15 minutes of me fumbling around, and Saga just said something and gave me the little hint I needed to push me in the right direction. So all that feels super Resident Evil, but in a good way, not in a bad way.
Yeah.
The way the game does scary so far, it's all tension. I've had 1 or 2 jump scares, but that's mostly using a function in the game, which I won't talk about right now because it's kind of it's a little bit of a spoiler. Saga is a very talented detective.
Was it because you were using the function and realized that time doesn't stop while you're using said function?
No.
Okay.
I saw that note, and I went into it pre-aware that maybe don't go into the Mind Palace while enemies are around because the action doesn't pause. Which credit again to the Northlight engine. You do case investigations and upgrades and stuff like that in a menu. The menu is essentially the Mind Palace, which is a room that you go into.
Oh, sure.
You hit the back button to go into that room. It's instant. You hit the back button to come out of that room. It's instant. You want to load the map. Instant. There is 0 load times, period, in any of this game.
Nice.
Yeah. In fact, my only real complaint with the game is that to get into the Mind Palace, you click that button, and I want that to be my click for map, not click for the Mind Palace. I'm gonna hold for Mind Palace.
Hold for the map. Yeah, you want to flip the hold and press thing. Yeah. Yes. No, it's great. It looks great. It sounds great. It plays great. I don't know how they keep doing this, where they just produce the most ridiculously good-looking things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
The combat functions the same as Alan Wake, except instead of like left trigger, you have a specific focus move to do. So you look down your sights and you can focus your flashlight with a different button. Combat is difficult.
You have to aim to shoot now. If you just hit the right trigger, she'll melee.
Do a little push.
Oh, interesting.
Which was it threw me off for a second. And I couldn't figure out dodge for some reason, even though I'm pretty sure it's the exact same shoulder button it was in Alan Wake.
It's the same button. It's the exact same button. It's harder, though. The dodge is harder. You do not get anywhere near the invincibility frames that you got in Alan Wake 1.
Okay,
in Alan Wake 1, it was like, oh, you press that button and you just don't get hit for the entire animation. Whereas on this one, it feels like it can catch you at the start and it can catch you at the end. It's only a little section in the middle where you're actually invincible.
Gotcha.
But Alan Wake 2 is great. I want to play Alan Wake 2 now, please.
There's charms now. Like I just grabbed a bunch of charms. You can equip up to 3 of them, and they do random stuff.
Like little perks.
Interesting.
Yeah, the weapon upgrades is you grabbing like torn up pieces of the manuscript. It looked like. So you get a certain
Yep.
amount of those, and you can now
Yes.
upgrade your gun.
Yes. So the weapon upgrades are done with fragments of manuscripts, which you then buy gun parts from a magazine in the Mine Palace.
Yeah.
Have you upgraded anything yet?
Yeah, I've upgraded, so I have a higher. No, wait. I think I got the auto. I think I got the auto first.
Okay, I went for the higher mag. It's great because it uses Alan Wake's writing to explain the upgrade.
Mhm.
So like,
That's great.
I bought the upgrade for the extended mag in the pistol, and then as soon as I bought it, it cut to a typewriter with Alan Wake doing the voiceover, and it's like Saga knew that she was going to run out of bullets, but she kept pulling the trigger. She should have run out of bullets a long time ago. It almost felt like the magazine had grown to fit the amount of bullets that she needed. She fired again. Then it cuts back to Saga, and your ammo capacity is much bigger. It's little tiny touches like this that I love.
Yeah.
Like your save points are coffee thermoses now. Like your manuscript pages are back. It's just like I realize it is very MCU of me. I think it's a genuinely great looking game and so far very intriguing to play without all of the accoutrement around it. But the fact that I'm so in that world, I'm so in the Remedy connected universe that I'm just like, yeah, cool. Let's see where this goes. That's an FBC station. I want to know what's going on there. Like that's this is that thing. This is the other thing. Like, give me more. Give me more. I just can't play it when other people are around because it's scary and very mature.
You start to get more FBC lore with it. Like I haven't gotten a whole lot, but there's something that is happening where it's like, okay, there seems to be like a third group that's working against the FBC. Maybe, you know. So,
yep. Which that group is mentioned in the additional DLC for Control in the second DLC.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, go. Alan Wake 2 is on sale. Maybe go buy it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I love that game. It's great. That's all I've been playing. Nim, take us away.
All right. The only other thing that I really played on vacation was East 10 Nordics. I really did not play a whole lot of anything on vacation.
I mean, it's a vacation.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of just disappeared for the most part. So I don't even remember where I left off the last time I talked about this, so I'm just going to kind of...
I think you were pretty early on in the game.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't remember doing a whole lot, but I'm just going to talk about it like I just started it for the first time in this one. So, the game starts out where you're taking a ship so that you can get to another island, or just another place, which is leading into the other East games. I'm not going to get into the whole timeline of everything, but this is an earlier in the timeline kind of thing. And the Nordics are basically your Vikings, because this is kind of a alternate history kind of thing where it's like the places and the people are there, but they all go by different names, and maybe everything isn't as we know it as by the history books today. So that's why I love these games. So basically this captain that you got the ride from was trying to get past the Nordics without actually paying the fare to, go through their area, and dude gets killed right off the bat. And all of you guys get brought to their islands, the Baltic Sea Force, and you're not like in trouble or anything, but they basically just tell you, hey, you're not in jail, we're not going to arrest you or anything, you didn't know, we killed the captain who did know what he did wrong, the rest of you are free to do whatever you need to do. And so that's how this game starts, which is actually kind of funny because most East games start with you being shipwrecked 9 times out of 10. Now we're at a point where it's like I have my own ship, but anyway, so as the story continues, I'm already towards the end of like chapter 9, and it looks like there's 10 chapters in this game altogether. So last couple of days I kind of played a lot of this game. Their battle system is a little different before, where it's like you had a group of people, you usually had like 3 or 4 people that you could switch between, and they had like the rock paper scissors method of, hey, this character does slash damage, this one does blunt damage, this one does pierce damage. they've gotten away from that. You've only got 2 characters. One is Kaja and then Adol themselves. They don't have specialty damage or anything. The only thing that kind of separates them is that if you hold down Adol's attack, he can do fire damage. If you hold down Kaja's, she can do ice damage. That doesn't really seem to matter right now. You can do status effects and stuff like that like you could in the other games. Whatever, it's an RPG. I'm kind of at the point, because I don't want to talk about the story a whole lot, because I'm kind of at the end of the game, but it kind of gets to a point where you're helping Karja because you don't have anything better to do. You're trying to get money so you can continue your voyage. And then you start getting into this whole thing of like mana users and Grieger, which are like these undying creatures that can only be killed by mana users. And somehow Adol becomes a mana user. And then Adol gets cursed. There's all this stuff that I'm not going to get into because it gets real spoilery real quick. But I'm just enjoying that I can run around on a ship in this thing. It's kind of like playing Wind Waker. Or a lot of people have also compared it to like Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I never played Black Flag, so I mean, whatever. I know a lot of people have complained that the ship is starting out a lot slower than what you're used to for Black Flag. I didn't mind it because it kind of starts you out in smaller air, like a smaller ocean. Basically, for your map, you get like a piece of map. You're traversing that area. It's not huge. And then you get another area, and they just kind of slap another map next to that map. And this is like, okay, here's the next area that you can go to. And you're upgrading the ship so it can go faster. It does have higher HP, damage, all that fun stuff. You get different weapons and stuff that you can upgrade. But for the most part, like, I'm just coasting around, blowing up ships, exploring islands, killing things with no issue right now because I've been grinding way too much. But yeah, I'm having a ball with it. It's an East game. Like, all these games are meant for is just exploring. I have a percentage counter on my map. It tells me I'm at 86%. It needs to be 100. Right. That's East.
Right.
But yeah, that's all I've been playing. Like, I've just been enjoying East. It's just a slow game, and that's all I want right now. And I've got Oath of Felghana over here, which I'm gonna get to some point. I don't know when, but it's another one where it's like, all right, fill out this map, go exploring, like, do whatever. It's cool. So that's probably what I may talk about next, depending on how this month goes, depending on when Boston gets Alan Wake 2.
Right.
But yeah, outside of that, though, I don't want to talk too much about it because like I said, the story picks up real fast and it can get into spoiler territory real quick, and it also spoils a lot of different things with the different East games because they try to roll it all in. Since this is the newest game, so now they just need to re-release the old games with this new information in it, so that way it all ties together neatly.
Right.
It's almost like they should have just thought of a roadmap for this as they were releasing these in weird orders.
Right.
But yeah, yeah, that's all I really want to talk about. I just bring it up that that's all I played, but I haven't really been trying to play video games. I just wanted to step away and take
a vacation. Yeah. Apologies for anyone that might have heard a little doodaloot noise. Apparently the fantasy league thing we're doing, the webpage plays a noise. And since it is my turn on the draft, it played a noise.
Get on it, live on air. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm gonna
E1M1. What are you picking?
I'm picking Lies of P Untitled first DLC draft game. Let's go.
Oh snap! Yep.
It's now Bullseye Production. Who runs Bullseye? Hannah. Let me just do.
Yeah.
The Hannah.
Come on, Hannah, get on it.
That's right. You're up next. All right. For the stuff that I have been playing, first up, I wanted to talk about something non-video game. Well, they're not video games, but it's video game related. I watched the first 4 episodes of Secret Level. It's on Amazon Prime. This is the video game short thing that has been out there. I only watched the first 4. Wanted to talk about them pretty quickly. I'll watch a couple more every once in a while, but I don't. Each one is only like 7-10 minutes, something like that, so it's not a lot. But you can only take so much. First one was D&D. I thought that one was okay. It looked pretty good, but it was a lot of like, this was the one out of all four of these that felt the most like, if you don't play D&D, you're probably missing about half of the cool stuff, because it felt very much like, oh, this person's doing this thing, or you're fighting this thing, or I can't believe they brought this thing in. I don't know any of that. So without any of that, it just seemed like a cool fantasy story, which is great, but like
I mean, surely you can tell just by watching it that they're going from D&D Advanced Edition rather than D&D 5, which is the new version, and that's the problem.
Dude, there
Exactly.
is a huge
Yeah, so
I
like
know.
without any of that, I kind of can't tell. Sifu was the second one. That's that roguelike fighting game where every time you die in the game, you get older. That's probably the most suited to something like this. They just told a getting older every time you die in this big fight story. I thought it worked pretty well. It looked pretty cool. It was very clear about like every time the character dies, one of the little like coin things on his belt shatters and he looks older and he kind of like gets back to the fight. So that was pretty cool ending. That was a neat payoff. I didn't think I was gonna like that originally because it did the thing that drives me crazy in some TV shows where like two characters are talking but the camera's moving around wildly even though nothing's happening. But that went away pretty quickly, so I'm not sure what that was about. New World was the first one, or the third one. I was pleasantly surprised about this. This was way funnier than I was expecting it to be. I thought it was going to be like a pretty lame revenge story, but on an island where nobody can die, how does your main character progress at all, and how does that go? So that was pretty good. Animation style, and that was a little bit weird, which I think is sort of how it's going to work with an anthology style thing of like some of them are going to be really great and some of them are going to be really weird. But that one was, I think, better than I was expecting to be. The last one I watched was Unreal Tournament, which was the one. This and like Pac-Man are the two that I'm like, how are you gonna do that? I think we know Pac-Man now.
Yep.
The thing I wrote about Unreal Tournament was, I mean, I guess, ? It's a heck of a story about like a autonomous robot that, fights back against its captors, basically. But is it Unreal Tournament? And this is the thing that I think I've been struggling with all of these so far, is like, you look at D&D, that probably is exciting for people that are playing D&D. Sifu was really cool because it kind of takes the bones of the story of the game and kind of expands it into its own thing. Unreal Tournament, like, they're fighting in an arena, and, you have, like, the double kill and stuff like that. Like, you have the voice samples, but there never seemed like there was enough of a story framework for the games to make something like this that references the games like that. So for me, what I'm struggling with is like, is it enough to have robots versus aliens fighting in an arena with the Unreal Tournament like weapons and sounds, or do they need to do more? And I think for me, they need to do a little bit more. Like, it's a cool story. It looks really great. Voice acting was really great. Had a heck of an ending, but it's kind of like there's a burr under my saddle a little bit of like, yeah, but like, was that really Unreal Tournament? And, how much do I remove myself from loving Unreal Tournament as like an online multiplayer thing versus we're going to use that framework to tell an interesting story. So I'm not sure. But I want to keep watching those because a lot of those seem pretty interesting, and they're all short. Like I said, 7 to 10 minutes for most of them, and they feel pretty snappy, and they feel focused, which is, I think, the interesting thing. Like, you're getting in there, you're telling a story, and you're getting out. So I think that works pretty well. So first 4 have been pretty good, and I'm kind of curious to see where they're going to go from there. So I'll talk about it again in the future at some point. First game here that I've been playing, though, Pinball Spire. This is available, I think, only on PC. This came out a while ago on Steam. It's a Yoku's Island Express, but it kind of like a medieval version. So it really is focused on kind of more, you've equipped this spell and now you can do this thing, but it's really exactly the same sort of thing. It's a 2D pinball exploration adventure sort of thing. I think it feels, this isn't a negative, but it feels a lot less generous than Yoku's felt like. Like, I feel like on Yoku's Island Express, it was really hard to sink the ball, down past where the flippers are. Like, it felt really hard to lose progress. And in this game, it's not cruel about it, but I think it's a harder pinball game. So
it has a couple of framps to meet you.
Yeah, sort of. And like, when you get that stuff, it doesn't feel, at least at the beginning of the game, like, it doesn't feel super cruel about it, but you're gonna have to try and focus on staying in the playfield that you're playing in. That way you don't kind of lose progress and get the ball where it doesn't need to be. But again, like, that doesn't feel unfair. It's not like, oh, the ball sunk or whatever the term is, so you lose. Like, it's not like a roguelike where you're starting back from the beginning or anything like that. But so far it seems pretty cool. It feels really good to play, which is like 99% of any sort of pinball game. At the beginning of the game, you sort of hit all the targets on one quote-unquote table, and you get an ability to slow down time. And when you slow down time and the ball is on a flipper, it will show you the trajectory that your ball is going to go. And it drains mana down while you're using it, so you can't just use it infinitely or forever. Or like use it on literally every shot. But it's one of those things of like, okay, I need to like nudge the table, or I need to kind of make sure I angle this perfectly to get exactly where I'm looking to go. And that felt pretty good at the beginning. This game seems pretty short and was pretty reasonably priced. It wasn't very expensive. But it's nice to see another, like, if anyone listening hasn't played Yoku's Island Express, you really need to go play. Like, it's like a Metroidvania pinball game. Like, it's so good, and it makes me really happy to see another person or another studio make something like this, because I think it's such a cool idea, and just nobody is making games like this. So that's Pinball Spire. It's out on Steam. I'm sure if you have a Steam Deck, that's probably the perfect place to play this thing. But this seems really cool. I don't think it's on anything else, but I like it. I think it's pretty cool so far. Halls of Torment, playing a bunch of that. That's kind of filling I have 45 minutes to play something and I sort of want to turn my brain off a little bit. Working my way through the Square Grid. If you listen to We Rogue Like It, I'm talking a lot about I actually looked for what it's called. It's really just called Quests, but that's kind of boring. Square Grid sounds way more interesting.
Square Grid is better.
Yeah.
Get your branding on.
That's
Come
right.
I wonder if Square will get litigious.
That's right. I've been enjoying. I think I like what the Square Grid does in this game quite a bit, and it's something that I think Vampire Survivors doesn't do as well. Like, there are kind of optional or challenging quests on the Square Grid that, like, some of the interesting ones are like, there's some of like survive 30 minutes and defeat the Lord on essentially each one of the levels. But on each level, there's also don't attack with any abilities for an entire run. So you're just using your default weapon for the entirety of a run. That's kind of fun. Like you're avoiding picking up any of the super powerful abilities. So it turns into sort of a hard mode of a run. They do have Moon. You remember the bridge level?
Yes.
Where the like spectral knights are squeezing from the different edges. There's one quest that was basically like kill one of those things, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know you could do that. Okay, well now I know what I'm going to do on this run. And then once you do that, the next one is kill 24 of those things in one run. And I'm like, ooh, okay. Took me almost all of one run to kill one of them. All right, I gotta figure out some cool way to do it. So like, Vampire Survivors has stuff like that in like its secrets menu, but I think the frustration for me in Vampire Survivors was always like, the clues are too obtuse in Vampire Survivors of like, combine two best friends and play a piano on this level. And it's like, what am I like? I just got to go to the wiki. I don't even know what any of that means. But like, kill 24 of like the spectral warriors in this level. Okay, I don't know how to do it, but now I know at least, number one, that it can be done, and number two, I have to be able to get a build or get strong enough or do something at some point to be able to make that happen. And I think that feels better, having that level of directness in the quests and leaving you to solve the puzzle of how to do it. So I like that quite a bit. I actually realized I didn't play as one of the characters when we roguelike it. I didn't play as the Norseman, which is like a very fast attacking ice-based melee class. That was a pretty interesting run. And I finally got the upgrades for, oh my god, I'm never going to remember what it's called. It's essentially, it's an ability that you pick it up and a little zone drops randomly on the map, and if you step in the center of the zone, the entire zone explodes. And does quite a bit of damage, but you have to kind of like hoof it over there and step into it, and it explodes. The upgraded version of that is the zones move towards you, so they're kind of always pulling towards you, and anytime they touch you or an enemy, they explode. And I was like,
so it's a bit like the one from Vampire Survivors that everybody hates.
Yeah. God, I don't remember.
Except better.
Yeah, and like having that moment, it felt very much like what's the one with the web upgrade that we really like? Spear Hunters, Infinite Horde. It felt very much.
Chat brings it out in the chat.
Yes,
I think this is better implemented than that, because this is very much a quest-driven thing. It's like, go hit these goals rather than just get this amount of currency.
Right. And like, I had that Spirit Hunters moment where I was like, oh, this ability actually isn't bad. I just didn't have the upgrade at all, and using this upgrade is way better than I was expecting it to be. And I think that's kind of the long and the short of Halls of Torment. Like, you look at it and you're like, okay, it's like Diablo 1 Vampire Survivors. But it's really smartly designed. It's really well made. The square grid helps a lot, especially when you're like doing a run that you get 5 or 6 quests done all at once, because it's like, oh, you did 3 million damage with this ability, and you can just do that over a whole bunch of runs. And I killed, I'm the archer, and I critted 20,000 enemies on this run, and I killed 50,000 imps over X number of runs and things like that. Like, having all of that stuff does really feel great and feels really rewarding, and being able to track that stuff makes it feel like, okay, I'm going to go do this run, and I'm going to go do this quest. I'm going to focus on that for whatever the reward is. But also talking to the Hannah about this the other day, he's also playing it as well. I can't believe I totally forgot to talk about this when we did this and we roguelike it. I think this might be our first example on We Roguelike It of a game that spent a really long time in early access and did not come out feeling abysmally difficult. Because
True.
this spent, I think, 2 or more years in early access. And the game got significantly larger than I think the developers really thought in there. And especially for a game like this, I feel like it's so susceptible to the thing that Moon and I always complain about, which is, oh, this game was in early access forever. It's just impossible to play. It's just ridiculously hard from moment
go
one.
check out the whale hunting one that we did.
Yeah.
Hades.
Hades is another good one. Yeah, that one felt a lot like, we have an early access system for game design reasons and for content reasons and for like raising money reasons. And I feel like Hades and this game both feel the same, where it's like, I know you guys have spent 300 hours of it in early access, and I greatly appreciate that. We need people to play this from the beginning too. So like the beginning in Halls of Torment is challenging, but it doesn't feel like you keep slamming your head against a brick wall constantly. It's just like, no, you just need to keep getting the upgrades, keep working on the square grid. Like every time you unlock something on the square grid, the amount of XP you get from an XP drop increases. So like right now I'm at like 67% increased XP or something. So like every run that I do more stuff, the next run I get stronger on, which feels really great. And I like that. I like how it's designed, and I like this whole game a whole lot. And just having another one of these games of just like 30 minutes, we're in and out for a run, and we're doing that. So I like it. I hope it comes to consoles. I looked again at the developers, and they're, yeah, we're working on consoles, but like, don't worry about it. I was like, how big is this team? It's 5 people.
Yeah.
5 people in Germany. It's like, okay, I'm not gonna hold my breath. I hope they do at some point, because like I can see this doing really well on Switch, like a lot of the Bullet Heaven games do. So I hope it does come out on consoles eventually.
Yeah, I was just doing that too. I was looking it up to see, okay, is this coming to console? And everyone's like, maybe.
Yeah, the developers.
All right, I guess I'll get it on Steam.
I think it was like 2 months ago, 3 months ago or something. The developers updated the FAQ on Steam, and it's like, we're working on it. We'll let you know when we have more info. It's like, okay. I mean, that's kind of all you can ask at this point.
Yeah.
So, I played through my Steam link, and it works really great. So the like Moonlight Sunshine combo on this works really great. So,
cool.
Last game here. Unsurprisingly, I spent almost all my time this break playing Uncle Chop's Rocket Shop, and just diving all the way deep into this game. I have figured out very quickly what a fatal job means.
Yeah, I heard you get into some real interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Is that exactly what it says on the tin?
Yep, that job will kill you. It basically says the explanation in the game is this job will kill you if you F up. And yeah, man, they're not lying to you. The jobs that will kill you the most often are the reactor jobs, which the developers already had to patch to make easier, because a lot of times there's a chapter in the grimoire about reactors, and every once in a while in the grimoire there will be whoever came before you has written a bunch of notes in the margin of just like, look, I know you're supposed to fill this container with this thing. You don't need to do that. You can actually just substitute it with this thing, and it will work just fine. So like there's fun little stuff like that. This one, the beginning is just all handwritten stuff of like, I'm still breathing hard and my heart rate is coming down from this one. These swear words are rigged to blow when they land. You need to do this first. And you need to read this before you do this job, otherwise it will kill you. And I was like, no big deal. That's not for me. That's not for this guy.
And you see that black wire? Yeah, I do. Don't disconnect that. Oh, and if you do, don't reconnect it. Oh.
Yeah, it's that's been some of it. But the reactor jobs especially, it's a thing that the reactor core can melt down, but it's only being contained by the amount of fuel the ship has and the amount of coolant the ship has, which is really just snowballs that you like pack into a snowball shape and toss into the coolant, which is really good. But the number of times I've gone through a run and be like, okay, I have read everything in the grimoire. I'm going to do a reactor this time. I promise. And the ship lands and I open up the reactor and it is exploding as I open up the thing. It's like, cool, thanks so much. That was really great. I'm just going to start a brand new run. Thank you so much. Thankfully, the developers patched it because, especially for controller players like myself, there wasn't enough time to unscrew and open and pull out the reactor core before it melted down, because you're using a controller as opposed to a keyboard and mouse. It probably would have been fine on keyboard and mouse, but there wasn't enough time at all. So that feels a lot better now. I've fixed a couple of those, but that's still the one where I'm like, if I'm on a really good run, I just re-roll those jobs because I don't want to do that at all. It's just messing me up something fierce. I have completed 3 endings of the game. There are 7 endings altogether. There's a normal ending, there's 5 faction endings, and then there's a true ending. I have done the normal ending, which took me a good number of tries because I don't really want to spoil it, but it's one of the funnier things in this game where you're going through and you're kind of like building over the entire run, you're building up towards doing this. And when you get there, all of the warnings that everybody has been giving you, it all kind of makes sense. And you get a new section in your grimoire, which you keep forever, thankfully. But it's basically like Polaroid. So in the normal grimoire, it's like schematics and professional diagrams and like the sales manual from the thing that you're using on. Like, it's very clear about what you're supposed to do. It's very clear about how you need to do it and like what all these switches mean and all that. This one is very much like Polaroid snapshots of the thing you're supposed to be doing, and you need to put together the right way to do it based on almost incomplete info. So it's kind of an interesting thing of like, oh, this system in this final thing reminds me a lot of this other like module that I've been used to. Okay, I know how to do this one. Okay, I can like figure out how to do that. Or like, oh, this VR module works exactly the same as the other one. I just need to make sure that all the pieces parts are there. Feyre in chat is also, we're talking a lot about this game in the We Were Glyca channel. She's saying, watching the guy in this video just making mistakes is killing me. Yes, it's also doing that too. Because like, I was talking to the Hannah about this as well this week. Is this game reminds me a lot of Death Stranding, where it's very particular and it's very much work, and you're doing work stuff. But if that sort of stuff clicks with you, I think this is a game that will click with you as well. Like, Death Stranding is a kind of most of the time it's like an almost boring delivery game. We're just holding L2 and R2 and walking across nothing.
You're figuring out your optimal route.
Right.
And then getting a wrench thrown at you when you realize, oh, there's BDs all over here.
Yeah, like BTs are BTs, rocking all over this place. And like, part of what I like about Uncle Chops is, at the part I'm at right now, I haven't fixed every module yet. But at the part I'm at right now, I know how to do all of the modules that I like know by heart. Like, I can do that no problem. And it feels really good to say, like, oh, okay, this fuel thing, I can see something sparking. I know exactly what to replace, what to do, how to fill it, how to, like, get a perfect rating for this, even get a little star, because I, like, filled the fuel tanks really well. Like, I know how to do all that stuff. And seeing a ship land and just going through each and every individual module and just knowing what to do as soon as you see it is like, okay, like that feels very satisfying. And this is just a game that overall feels really satisfying as you get into it, of like not only knowing how to fix that stuff, but also just like manipulating the systems. Like I said, like pulling cranks and like slapping stuff together and like fixing an AI module with like reprogramming it and making the pancakes, and like all of this stuff just feels so good to do. I think the two endings that I've done so far, which is the I've done the Empyrean ending, which was pretty okay, and then I just did the Lawmakers ending, which that one, from a mechanics standpoint and from a lore standpoint, was really interesting, because the game at the beginning of that ending basically says, like, here's your guide manual as someone who just joined. Don't worry about it. You don't have to worry about all of this stuff that the manual teaches you. You never have to learn that. It's all going to be taken care of by the other members in your crew. Don't even read it. You don't even have to worry about it. It's like, no. That feels like a trap. I know exactly what I need to do. I need to memorize all of this stuff right now, because that sounds like I'm going to have to do all of that. And guess what you have to do? All of that stuff. So, like, that was probably one of the most spinning plates at the same times thing that I've done in this game, which felt really good, but also felt really kind of intense, because getting to that point took a lot of preparation over a lot of runs before I could kind of like pull the trigger to do that. So thankfully I made it through that, but that was like kind of a very near thing. I really love this game. I'm still in it. I've played a lot. I think the PS5 dashboard, I spent a lot of time with this game paused, so the number is going to be wrong, but it says I played about 50 hours of it, which sounds about right. And I really, really love it. I would really like to go for the platinum on this game, which is probably going to prove hard, because literally nobody on the planet has it, which is wild. Feyre and I have figured out some of the puzzles, but essentially there are at least 24 in-game puzzles for you to solve that are not easy. And you have to solve all of those to get one of the last trophies, which is going to be pretty interesting. Seeing some of the stuff the community is going through to solve some of this stuff is pretty wild. But a lot of the rest of it is like, Feyre says 35 hours in, I'm still finding new stuff. Yeah. Like, it's definitely one of those roguelikes of like, oh, okay, I haven't run into one of these modules where like, I can't open the module because it doesn't have a lever to open it. How do I fix that? Like, it's like, oh, I can buy those and I can replace. Oh, okay, cool. Now how do I buy and replace that? Okay. All right. So like kind of continuing to put more info in your kind of repertoire there is pretty interesting. So I really wish there was a demo out of this, because I think if more people could get their hands on it, like Death Stranding, I think you could figure out if this clicked with you or not. Because I think if you played this game for even an hour, I think you would see the kind of core of the game. Look, if you don't like roguelikes, you're not going to like this game. Because it very much is, I made it through, I couldn't pay rent, I got smooshed, I'm going to get zooped back into the real world. I start at the very beginning of the game. And like you start from $0 and you have to start making rent. Which has been funny seeing people reviewing this game of like, I died and I like have to start at the beginning and make rent again. Like I'm still making that $250 rent. Like this is stupid. And it's like, yeah, but like you still
roguelikes.
Yeah, like it's still the genre. Like if you don't like the genre, I totally understand. But like I really wish there was a demo, because if you could just get your hands on this thing and just like move the levers and stuff and do a run or two, I think that would tell people. Most people aren't going to be in the middle ground. Most people are going to be like, yes, I adore this video game and I want to play this, or this feels an awful lot like work and I don't want to do that, which is totally understandable. And I think that would really help it. But for someone like me, that I like the fiddliness, I like the kind of like the job memorization of mastering all of these different modules, that feels really good. And then have it kind of all come together at the end during the final mission, where I got a trophy because I took longer than 15 minutes to do it all, but I'm getting faster every time I do it. Like that feels really good. This is just a really satisfying game. So Uncle Chop's Rocket Shop, it's great. Somehow it works really great with a controller. I'm sure it works super well when you're playing it with a mouse and keyboard, because it kind of seems like perfectly suited to that, but it works super well with a controller, and I love it. And there's still a bunch of stuff to do, and I want to keep doing it. So you're going to hear me talking about Uncle Chops for quite a while, I suspect. So I got a lot more achievements, or a lot more trophies to do. So that's all I've been playing this past couple of weeks. Let's take a break.
Yep. First Louise of 2025.
Hi, Louise. I wish that
hello?
My kittens were not chaos agents, because then I could bring them in here in this room.
Well, there's a reason this door's shut.
Right.
And let me tell you, it's because the kittens like jumping over every surface in this room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the number of times I have told Shrimp and or Grits to, hey, no, don't do that, and then them look at me and be like, fuck off. And we're like, no, that's not how that works, sir.
So this one has scared Leia to the point where Leia does not like to be around any part of the building where Louise is.
Oh boy.
Because Louise is an angry old bitch.
Mm-hmm.
But Ray doesn't give a shit. Ray will chase her around, and Ray chases her and then throws herself down on the floor in front of her in the submissive pose, as if to say, just fucking play with me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm gonna go to the bathroom really quick.
Okay.
Okay.
I see the Hannah has picked Rift of the Necrodancer. That's a really good pick.
Nice.
I like it. How much also I saw that Rocket Surgeon is the one that decided to fall on the big sword of this year and chose Hollow Knight Silk Song.
I did see that.
That will be... I've been toying with that one in the fantasy draft of just like, man, I don't want to pick GTA 6. I feel like that's too much of a gamble. But is this Silk Song's year?
GTA 6, if we get to it, is going to be my counter pick.
Mm-hmm.
Just letting everybody know.
I thought somebody picked GTA 6 already.
They did.
Yeah, T-Bomb did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's right. If it does come out this year, yeah, it's unless they thoroughly jack it up.
Projected points is 13.2. It has a hype factor of 93. So,
yeah.
Pretty good.
Yep.
I can't believe Bill picked both Death Stranding 2 and Split Fiction. Split Fiction was going to be my sleeper new game franchise of just like no one's gonna remember this, and It Takes Two has sold so many copies and reviewed so well that like it's gotta do well, right?
Hopefully.
And then Shino remembered Dispatch which was a game they just showed. I think at the Game Awards that's
Is that the Hero Dispatch
yeah,
one?
the superhero
Yeah,
like
yep.
that game. I totally forgot about that. I was like, yeah, that'd be a really good choice.
There's a lot of things that are on that list that I'm like, man, someone's gonna hit it big.
Yeah, and that part of the reason. So when I set this up, I thought there was only gonna be like 4 people that's gonna play this. So like having 13 people, which is one under the max of the that the site recommends, because they're like, look, you can go up to 20. You really shouldn't, and 14 should be like your absolute max. And if you have more than that, you should set up multiple leagues. They also have a new conference thing, which I don't understand completely, and I'm glad I don't have to understand right now because
It's too much work.
it's like it's enough to just like run one league. I don't want to have to run a conference of leagues. But I think that's the interesting part about us having so many people playing it right now is I think it's not like 3 people and all of us pick the 15 big games of the year and one of us is going to win. It's like I think the swing for a bunch of people, like some people are picking some kind of chancy stuff here. Like Rob has Monster Hunter Wilds and Avowed. Like Monster Hunter's probably going to do really well. Avowed seems like a real like a real toss in the air. I don't know.
Could be great, could be meh,
Yeah.
could be garbage.
Yeah. So I
know that's
think that's what's
even
exciting.
even with mine, like Ghost of what do they call it? Yotai?
Ghost of Yotei? Yeah.
That one I was like, that has to be good.
It has
Just
to
in my
review
mind.
well because it's like a
Yeah.
Sony first or second party game. Like those usually review pretty well.
Yeah, and then Atelier, that could be hit or miss. Like most people in this who enjoy the series, like yeah, no, it's gonna score high, but critically that may be a 5
Yeah.
for 5 out of 10, 5 out of 20.
Right.
But then like Lunar, I'm like, that's a damn good game.
It's probably going to
Like-
review pretty unless they like
Bomb the
completely
remake.
screw up the like how it just works. Then
Yeah,
like
it's running at like 20 FPS.
Exactly,
Like
right. Right.
But yeah,
Yeah. I'm pretty
can't
excited.
wait to
This
make
seems
some more
cool.
selections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said this earlier today, I think that Discord channel is going to be kind of spicy all year as games start coming out and they start getting reviewed and like we start seeing the points kind of start to go up and down. Because I think
Well, it also mentioned something about mid-year picks too.
yeah, there's something about betting. Like everybody has $100 to bet on stuff. I don't remember exactly where that is. I think we start
I'll
seeing some
figure
of
it
that
out.
stuff once we finish the draft.
Yeah.
So
Whatever.
we'll see. It's fun so far.
Yeah, I'm not big on fantasy picks. I just want to see what happens.
Yeah, I think most of us are in it for just like, let's see how it goes and let's have fun, which I think is kind of the way you need to do it. Of like, no one's gonna win $1 million at the end of this, so like, we're just gonna have fun and like, playfully antagonize each other.
Our community aside, this seems like a perfect way to stoke the console wars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Are you guys ready to wrap this up?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of January 6th, 2025. E's memoir, The Oath in Felghana, comes out PS4, PS5, and Switch. Over to you, Nimp.
It's great. That's
Yeah.
all I got.
This is the remake. There's a
It's
remaster.
raining.
Sorry, not a remake of the PSP Oath in Felghana game,
Yeah.
which I always heard people say like, "Yo, this is a really great Ys game. It's just kind of trapped on this platform. I wish there was an easier way for people to play it."
Which, I mean, all of the East games are on Steam or GOG or whatever, so you can
True.
play all of them on PC. But yeah, way back when the PSP came out, that wasn't really an option. It was
Yeah.
either get the $200 SNES version or
Right. Right.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it again. It looks like they did the same thing with like the other ones, where it's like, oh yeah, you can switch back and forth between original soundtrack or modern soundtrack,
Nice.
where they just updated the songs and stuff.
I like that.
Actually, let's see with the box right here. What all they do to it?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, HD features, upgraded audio, visuals. Yeah, you can change the artwork that's on there. So yeah, you can do classic, refined. Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Plus, the box is just awesome. I love that they made it into a SNES box that just
Yep.
says PS5 on it.
Yeah.
It's just so stupid.
It's really good. Our next game here is actually another remaster. Freedom War Remastered comes out PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC. The original of this was on the Vita.
Yep.
I never played this original one, but people loved this game.
I played it a fair amount, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I thought I had more time until this came out.
That's right here, man. It's coming.
Yeah.
These are the only two releases for this week, which is understandable because the holiday season just happened. But
Yep, it's not February yet.
God, February, please God, I don't know what we're gonna do.
Yeah,
Finish out and wait 2 in a month, I guess.
Play Monster Hunter.
Yeah. So that's the releases this week. I only have one news story here that's actually pretty interesting. Aardman Animation Studio is working with Game Freak on a Pokemon project. You probably recognize their name. They make Wallace and Gromit, along with all the other stuff. But like Wallace and Gromit is incredible. So I feel like if you get
quintessential British animation.
Yes. I feel like if you get a studio to make a Pokemon like claymation thing, that's probably like that or Leica are probably your go-tos.
I mean, gonna be good to see it in a different style too.
Yeah, because like that's one of the things I like the most about Pokemon Concierge, which is a really great, very short. It's only like 4 episodes, I think it was. That's a really cool show because they made it's a stop motion made out of like kind of everyday things, and you get to see a lot of the Pokemon very fuzzy because they made them out of a lot of felt stuff. It's a very cool show, and it, like you said, it's nice to see someone else. Like my kid and I watch the anime series a lot, and that show is great, but it's nice to see not only a different animation style but also another kind of approach to Pokemon overall, because it's not like Pokemon Concierge isn't about battling, it's about Pokemon feeling better when they're on an island vacation. It's a cool different approach to the world of Pokemon, and I really like when you get to see people just being friends with like their one Pokemon that they live with. They're like, I really love Wingull, that's my own Pokemon, my little buddy. It's like, yeah, man, I get it.
It's my whole life. I got a Wingo car, Wingo wallpaper.
That's right. My little buddy, he's got it. My Sprigatito is my best friend. It's like, yeah, man, I get it. Sprigatito's cool. So it's cool. I doesn't look like that one will appear until 2027, which is kind of a bummer. But hopefully we'll see other Pokemon sort of things in between there. Plus, the new anime is coming out too at the moment, so got plenty of Pokemon stuff, including the trading card game, but in your pocket.
Nope.
Okay, that's all the news stories we have. We had a lot of games to catch up on last couple weeks, and December is typically pretty quiet. It's also another reason why it's a good time for us to take a couple weeks off, because nobody releases anything, and nobody's putting out press releases at all. Yeah. So if you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right hand side of the page. Don't forget patreon.com/E1M1.
Ones and numbers.
$5 a month is the recommended tier. It's called Fun for $5 for a reason. Don't sue us. And gets you everything on the site. We talked about all the cool stuff at the beginning of the show. You can't support us financially. Totally understand. I feel you. The best way to support us, like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. That stuff really helps. Anything that goes on the public feed has a YouTube version along with it. And please don't forget to rate us and review us on whatever podcatcher you like. Positive reviews only. Don't.
Yes, please.
Not interested in your negative reviews. You just yell at a cloud if you hate the show, and stop listening if you hate the show, or tell all your friends and hate listen too. I mean, I don't get any money either way, so whatever. I think that's it. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. And Kubo did not get the respect it should have gotten.
No, I feel like that movie had a hard time getting marketed.
I just remember watching it. I don't even remember why, but it's like I got halfway through that movie and I was like, man, this is a really good movie. And then after watching it, everyone just like crapping all over it. I'm like, what were you guys watching?
Right. All right, Nymph. What are your titles?
All right. I have. I'm sorry if you're offended. It sounds like you forgot. Suck Avengers. It's on my side drive. I like what the square grid does. And the Moonlight Sunshine combo.
Moon, what do you have?
Side drive, Supreme Ball Control, Tomasi version 2 tax, a couple of ramps, Get Your Branding On, and quintessential British animation.
I have Don't Balatro Yourself, the Canadian Avengers, Side Drive TM, Cradle the Ball, Hit the Target, and the Moonlight Sunshine combo. I feel like Side Drive is the populist pick here.
Yeah, I think so.
It could be anything, really, but
it could be anything. You're not wrong. I think I put my vote for Side Drive because I think that's just fun. Do we put the TM on it or not?
Sure.
Yeah, why not?
All right, circling it.
Is that gonna break the title?
No, I'm just gonna put it in parentheses.
Oh, okay.
If I did the superscript, it would 100% break. Just like our favorite title, Pele Station, which also broke the feed. I'm trying to put respect on the man's name, and I broke an RSS feed.
I'm ready, by the way.
Oh my.
I'm ready.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 898 for January 6th, 2025. Side Drive TM.
Just don't tell my main drive.
Shh, it doesn't know.
All right, thank you very much, everyone, for listening and watching. We do greatly appreciate it. Nice to see you all again. Hope everybody had great holidays and Happy New Year. I will see you next week. Bye.